We'll be looking at Adam Harris. Now, Adam plays for the Oakville Blades Junior A hockey team in the OJHL. Now, I know Adam. I've skated with him. I've coached him. There's one thing I noticed. The one thing I noticed the most about him is just how patient he is. You can see there on, that save. Not only does he come across on his feet from a pass from the corner to the slot, he holds his feet, doesn't go down, and he still is able to push and make a backdoor save. And that's from a few feet out. That's simply incredible. Adam's very technically strong as a goalie. You can see right there, he doesn't get phased. He's very confident in his abilities and his skating, and it helps him make a lot of saves. All right, so we have a goal. Let's go back and see exactly what happened. Now, my initial thoughts kind of changed as I watched this video in slow motion, but I'm gonna play it all the way through. Let me know what you think on the goal in the comments below. Now, at first I thought, get your stick on it, but then I watched it again in full speed, and I thought, oh, maybe that puck was in the air. That's hard to control with your stick. So I decided to watch it again in slow motion, which we'll do right now. As you can see right there, that puck isn't that high off the ice. If anything, it's 2 inches. I mean, you know what? That is a difficult save to make with your stick, especially when it's that far outside of his body. If he happens to make it with his stick, and I mean this, if he happens to, yeah, he might put that in the corner, but he gets an unfortunate rebound off his pads right into that guy, and the guy was able to go from body to stick it in. I think if there was anything that would have helped him on that play, it's not having such a soft pad. I mean, sometimes you can't control where that rebound comes off your pads. It's just the luck of the draw. But if you have a very solid pad, it might blow up a little different and make it a lot harder for that player to control the puck. But that's speculative. It's just an unfortunate bounce. Another thing to note is Adam is a little bit of a smaller goalie, but he does a very good job at knowing when to look over screens and when to look around them. Obviously, if you're smaller and your screen is pretty big in front of you, you can't look over them. It's impossible. But Adam does a really good job of fighting through screens, fighting to find that puck, and making sure he's giving himself every chance to stop those pucks. So we have one more goal to break down, and it's a bit of a tough one. It's a very high quality grade A chance, but there's two things I thought Harry could have done better to give himself a better opportunity to make this save. And as you can see, as F1 enters the zone, he makes the pass from Harry's glove side, quite high up on the wall by the blue, all the way down to F2, number 21, who is creeping in on Harry's blocker side. Now, right there, it gave him a split second where Harry could have done a head check to find out where that F3, the guy stepping over the blue line, was entering the zone and where he was cutting in. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make that head check, so when he pushed in more of a straight line rather than pushing back and smothering with the hands, as we'll see. So that pass is made from F1 to F2. Guy bobbles it. Harry's in movement. He didn't take a look at where F3 was coming from. Now that guy makes the pass, and you can see Harry's push is a little more out and across rather than back to seal, and it's able to beat him outside of his body. It's tough. I mean, the one thing we try to teach our goalies is that we don't want them coming across with their hands. We want them to come over the puck with their hands and smother it, and that smother eliminates the middle to the top half of the ice because their pads are responsible for sealing the ice, so their hands are responsible for sealing the top part. And again, this is a tough save, it's a tough push, but we emphasize it when we slide, especially when we're really reaching, that we reach forward and we come forward with the body. Is really good for showing just how hard he works to find pucks. He has a lot of good head checks. He makes sure he knows what's going on. He knows they're outmanned, so he needs to be aware of what's happening. It's a good save. But he's able to fight through that traffic. He doesn't get caught up with that forward. He's not slashing him. He's leaving good distance for him to make saves. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say other than what we talked about in those goals. And those are only little minor things that we're going to work on tweaking, this off season with Harry. And he's an excellent goalie. He's going to have success. He's going to go on to play college hockey. If there's anything you thought I missed or anything you want to add, don't forget to put that in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you for the next one. The breakdown on Adam Harris. What'd you think of it?
I thought you were spot on a lot of things. I think it was a couple things that I noticed that you didn't bring up was sometimes his hinging on his feet, he gets a little bit flat. And for a smaller guy, if he gets too flat and he's a little bit delayed on exiting off the post from his feet, that's going to cost him. So I would say that one thing he should maybe focus on is making sure he's staying aggressive on his hinges. But other than that, he's a perfect example of a guy who's 5'9" on a good day, and kind of how smaller goalies should try and tailor their game. For a guy who has athleticism, like he's an ultra athlete, to play a controlled game and have that kind of athleticism in his back pocket for when he needs it is super, super impressive, to say the least. And his ability to stay patient and not let his size be a hindrance to him playing at a very high level is pretty impressive also.
Yeah, I mean, this was my first quick glimpse. It took me a while to kind of like gather my thoughts and break it down effectively. But the biggest thing is just he's so athletic and he's so patient that when he put those together, like there was that one save, that backdoor pass. The guy was at the bottom of the hash and he pushed backdoor. Like I saw that and kind of my jaw dropped to the floor. But I thought he did an excellent. He's an excellent goalie. We all know that, and it was nice to kind of watch that and to see the types of goals he's given up are like he's not giving up softies that often. That's what you want out of your goalie.
Before we talk about the goal, because I think there's a lot to talk about in that goal. Just his ability to read the play, like that save that you just talked about, where a lateral feed bottom of the hash, where everybody that I know would probably be on their knees, he's able to hold his feet and then pivot and push laterally and make a highlight reel save. But like just his ability to read the play on a couple of those plays for a guy who he sees the game in slow motion, and guys that are smaller can learn from him. He's a perfect guy for those guys to kind of try to tailor their game after, because he's definitely, in my opinion, he's a future NCAA and professional goalie. He's just not there yet because he's only 18 years old. So he's a guy that you're going to hear about in the next couple of years. But in terms of that goal, that's the goal right there. And for you, where we kind of went back and forth on it, that's the goal right there that gets goalie coaches fired. And this is why, because a coach you'll come in after an intermission and a coach will say that rebound can't happen. And then you'll look at it and you'll see that Adam controlled the rebound on a scoring chance off of a depth adjustment and an angle adjustment off that little pass, puts the puck to the half wall. It was probably 3-4 feet off the ice. It hits the guy in the chest, and then he puts it into an empty net. And that's a goal that a head coach who's not a goalie will say, oh, that's a bad rebound.
Yeah, I agree. When I first saw it, immediately I was like, all right, bad rebound. And then when I slowed it down, I was like, okay, it's one of those ones. Some guys that are super active with their stick could have got their stick on it and then it doesn't happen. But I would say 99% of guys, they don't get their stick on it and that rebound happens regardless. And it just hit him in the chest. It could have hit him in the shoulder and bounced wide, but it just hit him in the chest. But you're right. You were right for sure. And when I saw it, it was just so far outside his body. Like you can't expect a guy to get a stick on it, especially on the blocker side.
Especially when it's where the initial shot came from. A guy was kind of moving towards the middle, so he was doing a good job of keeping lateral patience and trying to hold his edges and be patient on that. So the only way he gets a stick on that is if he kind of guesses, and then he's already kind of center shifting into that save, which I don't want my guys doing on that play. It's too close. It's too high risk of an opportunity for a center shift on that. To me, he plays it perfectly. He executes a good save, and to me, that's just bad puck luck. I know we kind of went back and forth on it, and at the end of the day, you're going to get scored on. Goalies are going to get scored on. That's the name of the game. You don't see a lot of 0-0 games ever. You see the average goals are about 2.3 to 2.8 a game. So that means you're getting scored on more than 2 times a game. So there's going to be times where the puck just goes in the net, and there's not much you can do about it. And to me, there's not much more that he could have done on that goal. So I think that was a pretty good teaching point.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. If anyone wants a quick Glips breakdown, just reach out to us at onicegoalie@gmail.com or BUJAN Goaltending on Instagram. These are free. It's a great resource. Take advantage of it. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.